Good morning, Doctor.
Morning.
2 kids, Ward 3, another gang fight. Over in the south side this time. Police would like a full report.
They called me about it.
Seems to be a lot of these fights lately.
Another gang fight. 2 kids hurt. Peter Zenwitz, 18. Stab wound in lower abdomen, right. Fracture of left radius. No infection. Condition satisfactory. Thomas Keene, fractured ribs, lower left. Perforated lung, left. No infection. Condition satisfactory. The laboratory found no infection. Nothing that showed up under a microscope or in a test tube. Nothing you could fight with a drug or serum. Condition satisfactory? I doubted it. The 2 boys. Mind if I talk with them?
If they'll talk.
How are you feeling?
Okay.
My name's Nordoff. Do you know what a psychiatrist is?
Yeah. I've seen movies.
So have I. Tell me, why did you and your friends attack the other crowd?
You kidding? They started it, and we're gonna finish it. We're gonna settle with those punks.
Wait a minute. The police report says that you and your friends went to Peter Zenwitz's house and started the fight.
Peter Zenwitz.
Oh, I see.
And we didn't start the fight. They did.
Everyone makes mistakes. I made the common mistake of judging by appearances. Everyone, even a psychiatrist, makes snap judgments sometimes. Often it's final judgment. Passing sentence for a crime that was never committed. What have you got against Peter Zenwitz?
He's like all the rest of them.
The rest? The rest of what?
Polacks. Always horning in with the not wanted. Who asked them to come over here anyway? Who do they think they are?
Who do you think they are, Tom?
Polacks. Dirty, stinking Polacks.
The old familiar hate words. Here it's dirty, stinking Polacks. Other places it's dirty Dagos, Micks, Greasers, Kikes, Chinks, Niggers. How does hate like this begin to pile up? Where does it start? What do you do about it? That's what the police wanted to know. That's what I was supposed to tell them. First of all, I had to get the whole story. I called in a caseworker, Jeff Holland. Jeff was experienced at this kind of thing. How does the hate begin to pile up? Where does it start? Jeff would try to find the answers. He went down to the south side, to the Polish section, an American section, actually, in which many of the residents are of Polish ancestry. Their parents and grandparents came from a poor country, wanting a better life, willing to work for it. Some have done pretty well. It's been a struggle. Different customs, different backgrounds, but the same human needs and wants. Above all, the desire to belong, not to be an outsider, which is sometimes a struggle in itself. It's hard to understand why you have to get kicked around for having a different sounding name, for speaking with a different accent.
You want to know how it happens? Well, I ask you how it happens. Why those kids make trouble for us, those hoodlums? The police, what do? Why don't they stop it?
Papa, he's not from the police. He comes only to ask us why.
We are trying to stop it, but I've got to have your help. These things just don't happen. There's always a reason for it. Tell me, do you know the Gregorys?
Oh, I know them all right. Gregory is bardzo biedny.
Proszę, tatuś, bądź cicho. What Papa means, we don't really know them. We know only about them. They don't, how should I say it, bother with our neighborhood. It's hard to explain. There are some people that way.
Jeff learned a little from the Zenwitz family. He hoped to learn more from the Gregories, just a few blocks away from the Polish section. A modest house on a street of modest houses, like countless other houses on countless other streets. A neighborhood of people who go to church, read the newspapers, listen to the radio, have their friends in now and then. People who lead a quiet, orderly life.
They're taking good care of him. There's nothing he needs.
He will be all right, won't he? I mean, he'll get well all right?
He'll be all right. Don't worry. But I must know more about what happened.
Oh, for the life of me, I just don't know. We can't figure it out.
It's terrible. I hate to think what the neighbors must be saying.
Was there bad feeling between the two boys?
Not as far as I know. Of course, Tom is quiet. He doesn't say much.
No, that's because I've always made him toe the line. It's the way I was brought up, and, well, that's the way we've tried to raise Tom.
You know, I've just been to see the Zenwitzes.
Can't pay much attention to what they say. You know what they're like.
What do you mean? What they're like?
They're polacks.
Oh?
Now, I'm not trying to excuse Tom, but thick as they can be.
Oh, that's silly. Why, they're no better and no worse than Laura. Mother, you don't even know them. You've never let yourself know them. I do. Peter's a friend of mine.
Why,
Now,
they're not our kind. They're a different sort of people entirely.
is that bad? My hair's longer than yours. Should I cut it off?
That will be enough out of you, young lady.
What are they, wild animals or something?
Laura, you heard your father.
Laura has heard her father for many years. But Laura, it seems, has learned to do her own thinking. She has her own ideas. She has confidence in herself and what she believes. She doesn't need to step all over people in order to build herself up. Harold Gregory does, as Jeff found out. Like everyone, he wants to get ahead, have people look up to him. He always wanted praise, even as a child. Instead, he got discipline and punishment. In his job, standing still. Others always seem to get the prizes he wants. 15 years at the same desk. A bookkeeper for a steel company. Quiet, unobtrusive, fairly competent. A few small raises, but no promotions. Why? Favoritism? Dirty politics? Why else are the Polacks moving in and moving up? Gregory has his own answer. It's because they're so aggressive. Because they're so tricky and unscrupulous. Some of them down at the mill make almost as much as he does. How come? Fine way to treat an American. If at first you don't succeed, blame somebody else. The Polacks, the hunkies, the foreigners. They're stupid and dirty, but they're smart and tricky. They're lazy, but they're too ambitious. They're anything he wants them to be. A handy target for his own feeling of inadequacy. He could work harder, but it's easier to find a scapegoat. He could accept his limitations and try to live with them, but it's easier to shift the blame. Mrs. Gregory considers herself a conscientious mother.
I've tried to bring my family up properly and see that they have a good home and that behave nicely and associate with nice children, but I don't know why Tom's been such a problem.
Good, right, nice, proper. But Jeff was to find out they added up to something else. Fear of not being good enough. Fear that she would always stay in the same rut. That she would never climb the social ladder. There are many who have the same fear. Joined together, they have strength of a kind. There is always someone more vulnerable.
Therefore, I move that we reject the applications of Mrs. Lubov and Mrs. Brannicky. Believe me, I haven't the slightest personal feeling, but, well, it's a question of background. They just don't see things the way we do, and we don't want to lower our standards.
She doesn't know why Tom has been such a problem. It was a gradual process. No child is born prejudiced. Children have to be taught how to hate, whom to hate. She raised Tom carefully. She knew about smallpox and other infectious diseases. She had him immunized. She didn't know that she herself could infect him, thinking all the while she was doing the right thing.
Ethel! Hello. Oh, Mildred, how are you? I didn't know that you traded here. Well, they do have wonderful bargains. Yes, I suppose they do. That's the way they take things away from our own people. Still, if their prices are lower. Well, I don't mean to tell you your business, Ethel. After all, if you want to shop here, that's up to you. Personally, I don't think it's right. After all, the Poles are so clannish and untrustworthy, and we really have to think of our own people. Why,
The infection was slow to take hold. Tom couldn't see anything wrong with the kids in the Polish section. He didn't notice that they were different.
What are you doing here? Oh, you stay in your own backyard? What are you doing over here? I told you that you weren't to play with those children. I told you that you were to stay in your own backyard. Tommy, you're a bad boy. You're a very bad boy.
You do as you're told, understand? Stay away from those polacks. They're no good. No good. Why no good? Never mind why. Don't ask questions. Do as you're told. The little man at the office becomes the big man at home. The voice of authority. Authority wielded 1,000 times, darkening the years that should be filled with sunshine. Home becomes a place of rules and regulations, discipline, and not enough love.
Is that my knife? Let's go out and play.
It takes time, but the pattern develops. No chance to work off his aggressions normally, he finds other ways. Ways to get even with parents who hold too tight a rein on him. A problem child at the age of 11. Sulky, furtive, hemmed in, unsure of himself. Running off sometimes to play with the Poles, wanting to feel superior to somebody. Kids like Pete Zenwitz, Anton Milakovsky, Leo Kubik, Stan Lubov. Funny names. But they can shoot a BB gun all right. Well, who can't?
Let me try.
I'm better than the dumb Polacks any day in the week.
I could have a BB gun if I wanted one.
Why haven't you got one then?
I'd rather have a 22.
What did he say? He said shut up.
Status, bądź cicho. Would you like maybe some piroshki?
Oh, man, we have one. We have one. Oh, gee.
Oh,
thank you.
Oh,
Thank
boy.
This is good, huh?
I love it.
What's the matter with him?
Don't you like it?
Ogni signori.
Strange food, strange ways, strange people, different, foreign. He senses hidden things, mysteries. A different kind of church where they speak a strange language, Latin. Strange, different, therefore bad, dangerous.
Hey! Why don't you go home where you belong?
I can't find my best kit tonight. Have either of you children seen it?
Mm-mm. Not me. You know what Pete Zenwitz has got? A brand new BB gun. A repeater.
What were you doing over there?
Walking by. Leo Kubik's got a bike. How come I can't have one?
Daddy can't afford it, dummy.
I'll decide what I can afford.
Where do the polacks get all their money?
It's not nice to call them polacks.
Maybe I can get you a bike next year.
Next year? Gee.
That's enough. I'll eat your dinner and keep quiet.
Tom was learning to hate, and not just at home. There were others who contributed their share. There was Miss Barnett, never really interested in teaching, frustrated, unloved, resenting her drab life, and taking it out on the kids.
Peter Zenwitz? Stand up. What do you mean disrupting the class?
I was only going to ask him.
Don't backtalk, young man. If you hope to amount to anything, you'll drop those shiftless Polish habits and attend to business. Do you understand that? Do you understand me, Peter Zenwitz?
Yes.
Yes, what?
Yes, ma'am. What's dumber than a half-wit? A dead-wit?
So gangs develop, insiders against outsiders. The outsiders have been beaten, but once isn't enough. You have to go on proving yourself. Out of fear and frustration, the hate grows. Out of insecurity, the need to be powerful, the master, the conqueror.
You kids cut out this fooling around. Well, I'll go on downstairs and help your mother with breakfast.
Yes, Father, dear.
You're too old for this kid stuff, Tom. Now, I don't want any more of it.
Yes.
Good morning. Good morning, dear. Why is Dad such a sourpuss? Can't we have any fun around here?
I won't have you talking like that. Laura, that's no way to pull a mill.
Why does everyone have to do things the same way? That's the trouble with you.
There's a right and wrong way to do everything.
I disagree.
Laura,
Besides, I like my way best.
I won't speak to you again, young lady.
Is that a promise?
Laura gets away with it. She is rebellious, but her rebellion doesn't really count. In the Gregory world, it's the man's opinion that matters. But Laura's not having it that way. She has set a course, her own course, and she intends to follow it. She studies hard, does her own thinking. There is room in her mind for as many opinions as there are different kinds of people. No one is going to tell her how to choose her own friends.
Well, I'll call you tonight. Right.
Hey, Laura.
Oh, hi.
Going my way?
Oh, depends. You going my way?
Right.
Then I'm going yours.
Good. About the party tonight, Laura. Do you think you can come?
Well, you know, I'm terribly busy these days.
Oh. Got a date?
You're very fortunate. I just happen to be free this evening.
Good.
If she likes a boy, she likes him, whether his name is John Jones or Peter Zenwitz. But to those whose minds are surrounded by high walls, differences are wrong, dangerous. They hate whatever is different, and the hatred welds them together. They tell themselves it's masculine to hate.
Hey, Laura's getting up in the world, hobnobbing with Pete Zenwitz. She gets along just fine with those polacks. Hey, what's the secret of her success?
She's a dope.
I wonder if they get anywhere with her. How about it, Tom? Give us the lowdown, huh?
Shut your mouth or I'll shut it for you.
Shut your mouth. Big wheel, big wheel. Look at the big wheel. What do you think you are?
Now, once more, I'm going to ask you, how long have you been playing around with Zenwitz?
I'm not playing around with him. How many times do I have to... Peter's having a party tonight. He asked me to come, that's all.
Darling, there are lots of nice boys.
Well, what's wrong with Peter?
He's a Polak.
He's a Polak. That settles everything as far as you're concerned.
Listen, I don't want any sister of mine running around
He's
with a
every
dirty...
bit as good as you are.
Laura.
Better watch out what you're saying, young lady. Now, I don't want to hear any more about it. Go and call him up and tell him you're not going, and that's final.
But...
Final.
I told her off, all right. Told the old man. He won't be playing around with that Polak anymore.
Got fancy right, brother.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
Hey, I got news. They're having a party over at Pete Zenwitz's. Big deal.
That's no news.
What they doing, the Kazatsky? Say, how's he don't get invited?
Yeah. How come? I feel like having some fun tonight. What do you say we, crash the party?
Ever figure they might get sore?
What's the matter? Chicken?
Who's chicken? I'll crash any party I want.
Now you're one of us. Let's go, boys. Pick up those things in the bottom, boys.
Here, Jimmy.
Got everything? Well, let's go. Come on, take off. Stay away from me. Come on. Here we go, Bower. Remind. Start.
On the south side, the sort of eruption that might happen almost anywhere when the pressure of hate becomes strong enough. We knew now where it began, in the home with the parents, and probably with their parents before then. We knew the source and how it developed, but there remained another bigger question to be answered: how to cure it. Not just here, but everywhere. For prejudice is a disease, a communicable disease. It shows up in many places, takes many forms. Yet few of us recognize the symptoms in ourselves. Often it requires testing oneself, like testing eyesight. Is my vision distorted? Do certain names frighten or anger me? Certain colors, faces, accents, certain religions? If so, then I too am infected. A menace to everyone around me, my own worst enemy. For make no mistake about it, prejudice is a crippling disease. But no one is born with this disease. No one is born prejudiced. He has to be taught how to hate, whom to hate. It begins in the home, transmitted from parent to child. It is because it's contagious. It feeds on frustration and insecurity, on a feeling of social inferiority, on the thwarted need for love and stifled aggression. It hates a chance to work off excess energy and hostility. All of these help make us immune to prejudice. And why not? By immunizing ourselves, we no longer fear smallpox, diphtheria, and many other diseases. Why not do the same with the disease of prejudice? This is our hope, our real hope for the future.